Hey, YouTube, what's going on, guys? Back with another video. So actually, I'm on here for a minute. Guys, I wanted to have a chance to just give you a little bit of my thoughts real quick. So did a little research for you guys. Okay, I wanted to try to compare you guys to my door-to-door era and this door-to-door era. So everybody kind of know I started in door-to-door sales back, 94, 95 area. So, of course, that's over 30 years old. So, obviously, the guys that's doing door-to-door, I see a lot today, younger guys. So, definitely a lot of them probably under 25, definitely under 30, okay? So, just to let you guys know that, of course, with door-to-door sales started back at in the late 1800s, going into the 1900s. Now, check this out. Door-to-door was, picking up back in the late 1800s. 1900s had probably exploded during the Great Depression era. So during the Great Depression era, it exploded a little bit because y'all know back then, World War II was the Great Depression time, and people were starving. So, of course, salespeople had to go door to door and do their thing and try to make a living. So that's when door to door exploded in the United States of America. So I'm just saying, for myself, I probably peaked during that time because my era carried over from the World War II era to where I was at. So, and the reason I'm saying this is because what has been brought to you guys has been brought to you guys in your era, which is right now. So the difference between my era and your era is, number one, guys, man, y'all got social media, which has changed life in general. So I'm just imagining, just think, when I got in sales, they grabbed you basically out of the street and told you to come and sit down at one of their little conferences and sell you on the dream and the opportunity. And not seeing anything done, nobody doing it, how to do it, no, they just selling you guys. Now, with social media, y'all guys can plug in right on YouTube and see the guys making money. Make guys making all this incredible money that's out here in door-to-door sales, which been out here for a long, long time, but is being exposed to you guys on this particular level. So, excuse me. So, really, truly, guys, incredible, man. Y'all got an opportunity that I didn't have. I didn't have a chance to go on social media and look at companies and prep myself. I kind of had a luck of the draw. I just happened to fall into a wonderful company, Fortune 500 company, and I had an incredible trainer. I had an incredible manager that trained me on this industry. I lucked up, man. I lucked up. So basically hit it out the park to a certain degree. Now you guys are better because you can see it being done on camera from guys out here doing their thing. So I just say, number one thing, guys, what's been brought to you guys, y'all can see door-to-door sales on a higher level because of social media today. Incredible, great. I mean, spectacular to me. I wish I had that, no question. Okay, of course, we know it wasn't around. Okay. Number two, one thing I can say, door-to-door sales saved me. So, and what I mean by that is, with social media and things of that nature, to piggyback a little bit, young people getting a chance to see success early on. In my environment, me growing up as a kid, we only had, of course, TV, which was really unreachable. Because when you saw people on TV, that was like you had to have a talent and a skill to get on TV. They just wasn't letting average everyday people get on TV. That's our social media that came, was average everyday people doing amazing things. Only way you got that unless you was on TV. So me coming out of my neighborhood, unless you had a good education, which I didn't come from great schools in my community. Not to say they were horrible, but I didn't have incredible schools unless you was really, really smart, like you're a book smart guy. So me growing up, seeing basketball players, just athletes in general, singers, rappers, or when I step outside into the streets, my heroes was drug dealers, okay? Drug dealers, hustlers, guys that's making $1, making 50 cents, making $1 out of 50 cents out of $1, okay? And that was me. That's what I saw growing up as a kid. So I didn't have heroes, and especially seeing opportunities being given to me, please. Please. You just, what you had to have at that era, in my era, especially being African-American male like me, growing up in a tough neighborhood, you had to have great parents, which I had. Man, I was so lucky. I had really good parents. I had a mom and dad, married, raised me and my brother, and put discipline in me and my brother. And they kind of taught us right from wrong. Now, you can't stop men from boys from being boys, because boys gonna sneak and get into stuff. That's what we do, okay? But my mother and father instilled in values and they tried to instill in values in us, which they did a good job at it. But you still had the outside world trying to change your mind, especially being young, and you want to see what the world is about, which is me. That's what I was trying to see. So growing up in my community, I grew up actually in my neighborhood. We had a couple of first round NBA draft choices that lived right around the corner from me. And when I grew up with those guys, they made it to the league. They were lottery picks during that era. So for us, average everyday people, either, I'm gonna run it down to you, okay? Remember, no social media. My social media was outside. When I opened up my front door and walk outside, that was my social media, okay? So, I seen guys, of course, my couple of my great friends I grew up with made it to the league, untouchable. I wasn't hanging around them to the point where they had a chance to lift me up, and guess what? They lifted me up. They got to take their family with them first before they take it to one of their boys from the hood. They'd fly you out to games and stuff like that, but they not buying you houses and stuff like that unless you probably family, okay? So that was unreachable, period, okay? Secondly was either you went to the service, went to the Army, joined the Army, Air Force, whatever you're doing, that was an option. But the way that was presented to me in my community wasn't a good thing for an African-American male to go to the service. Now, if you don't believe that, watch Boys in the Hood, okay? They tell you. So that was the thing, and that was right around my era. I was young, early 20s, 20, 21 era. So, that wasn't an option for me, okay? Period. The next one was working in the plant or getting a city job, okay? So the plant was kind of unreachable because the time I was coming out of school, people would go from high school to the plants, okay? So you would go and fill out, get you a plant job if you was lucky. You had to be really lucky to get in the plants. Now, they made really good money for young people coming in, but you was working for that money, okay? But you had an opportunity. It got you busy, got you from the environment that could just draw you in and have you doing stuff that you don't need to be doing. Trust and believe me, okay? So that was an option for some. Wasn't an option for me because I didn't get hired into the plant. So now, city job. Can I get the city? Now, my dad my dad worked for the city. He always tried to encourage me and my brother to go get city employment. We did. We filled out applications and things that nature, but they wasn't hiring. So at that time, they wasn't hiring when I graduated from high school. So I had to wait around and do certain things and things of that nature. So I kind of got penny jobs, okay? So penny jobs is what I had for a minute. I was still living at home with my parents, so I was okay, okay? They ain't sweat me on money or none of that. My mom and dad both worked, so they had good jobs. But I didn't have it. Now, college. Could have went to college. Now, my grades wasn't great, and back in that era, you had to have either good grades, you had to have a scholarship, or whatever you might have to have, or you had to pay out of pocket. That wasn't happening for me. My parents wasn't rich. I wasn't paying out of pocket, and that wasn't just really an option at the time. I thought about it. You know, I was really good in sports myself, and I thought the only way I could have really got to college unless I won a scholarship, and that didn't happen to me. So let's take college out, okay? So we done knocked down the city job, and going to college or even to the service. So now I got a little job. Now I'm just out here in the world, just working, just trying to, hopefully something from the city or something open up for me so I can have a chance to do my thing, okay? But at that time, I was working, doing okay. But I did get an opportunity in door-to-door sales. Y'all kind of know about my story when it came to door-to-door sales, which if you didn't see it, go to my first video, one of my first videos, you'll see it. So that situation came and fell in my lap. And when it fell in my lap, I didn't know it was going to be my career move that changed my whole entire direction of my life. But it changed the direction of my life. So, and I'm just thinking back in that era, I was heading to the streets. I was starting to dibble and dab, okay? Where I could have took a instead of taking a right, I was taking a left, okay? But luckily, this opportunity fell in my lap, and God gave me an opportunity. So I'm just letting you guys know that's the difference between me, my era, and your era. Your era, y'all guys got so much disposal at your feet with social media and guys showing you how to get paid and make that move. So I didn't have that. So other words, at the end of the day, door-to-door fell in my lap and it changed completely in my life. That's the difference between you and me, because we didn't have the options that you guys have today, period, okay? Really cool, okay? Last but not least, one thing I do like, okay? So back in my era, we didn't really push, and they probably did. I was just so happy to graduate from high school and get out of school, and I just wanted to live my life. I didn't really think about a whole bunch of extra stuff that I wanted to do after school. It was just, I thought things would just kind of fall in my lap to a certain degree, or what was my next move might be. So I didn't get trained up as a skills tradesman, where you can either, weld, plumbing, construction, stuff like that wasn't really brought to me at my age as well. So it wasn't like I was going into those fields to do that type of line of work. So mine was door-to-door sales. And I always say this is definitely a skills trade to me, because it's a talent, it's a skill. So, and everybody can't do it. Everybody ain't good in sales, okay? And the best people in the world that's great in sales, they pretty much I've talked about them on YouTube at least one way or another, okay? So I'm just saying to you guys, today's era and my era, totally different on the way y'all guys learn in this industry. So I'm saying y'all got so much exposed at your feet. But the great thing is what I'm bringing to you guys is I'm letting you know. I'm so glad I'm letting you know my story and where I'm coming from and the environment that I came from and I grew up in. So that's why, like I said today, and you look on social media, you only see a few standout African Americans in door-to-door sale. Kenny Brooks, he from Detroit, born and raised. He pretty much a comedian, superstar, doing his thing now. Got on, and his door open from door-to-door sales. So I don't know if that was gonna be. I was gonna be my path. I was always passionate about doing it, so I'm getting a chance to do my thing, and I appreciate he went and did his thing. But like I said, he's more on the comedy side. I'm more on the business side of door-to-door sales because I've done it. I ran sales crews. I've done door-to-door on my own. I've done everything when it comes to door-to-door sales probably imaginable. Okay, that's why I'm giving y'all guys all the nuggets and the pieces that I can give you as much as I can. Okay, so it's like I said, I wanted to drop another video, and we comparing eras, your era versus my era. Okay, and I'm telling you guys, y'all era is way better than my era. Okay, but just want to drop you guys some nuggets. I'm out of here. Got to get moving. Talk to you guys later. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.